So guys, Sam here, and I'm going to go through essentially my my 6-year VW Golf R service history with the car, because I think it's quite useful to kind of explain how it's kind of gone. You know, I've owned the car for 6 years. I've done about 47,000 miles now, and I've just recently had my 6-year service. So yeah, just to explain a little bit around costings as well. Actually, I think what I'll do is I'll tally everything up over the 6 years and just tell you how much it's cost, because I think that's quite useful. But also just the experiences I've had and how I've kind of got on with the car. Yeah, people not familiar with my channel, I've pretty much, as soon as, well, the first video on my channel was actually on my Golf R, and that's how it all kind of started. And hey, 6 years on, I'm still doing videos. But essentially my car has a full VW service history. Yeah, I've kind of kept that going, which, yeah, I'm happy with. I purchased the car back in July 2017 now, from Manchester Volkswagen. So that was, yeah, that's where I kind of got the car. I purchased it as an ex-demonstrator. So done about 1,400 miles, yeah, driven around by one of the VW sales guys basically. So it was only 3 months old. At the time I actually paid £24,950 for the car, which I thought was quite good. I buy all my cars outright. I never finance or anything like that, so I'm pretty happy with it, to be fair. And yeah, even We Buy Any Car would probably give 15.5 grand for the car today, which is, yeah, the bare cheapest. My car, by the way, is a 6-speed manual. The only thing that you really have to look out for Golf Rs above a normal different Golf is a Haldex service, which is what I've actually just had in the last couple of weeks. So that's really the only extra thing. If you have a DSG version, mine's a manual, you have to have a DSG oil service. That's pretty much it really. The Haldex service comes every 3 years, and that's normally kind of the best thing to do it. And yeah, other than that, it's just a Golf, and that's why I've really loved the car. You know, it's just a VW Golf at the end of the day, and it does everything that I'd kind of want it to. So let's talk about the most recent service that I had. Now, this is the 6-year one, so I was kind of like, okay, you know, major service, so it should be spark plugs, oil, filter, pollen, and the Haldex as well, being the 6 years. I spoke to VW, and they actually told me, because of the lack of miles I've done, which is fair enough, I've not really driven the car. I don't commute in the car. I commute yeah, into London via train, or I work from home. So I haven't really done that miles. I haven't neglected it in that sense. So yeah, I mean, it was proper getting dusty and cobwebs, because I've owned a couple of other cars recently in the last year. I owned a really cool Fiesta ST200, which I really do miss that car actually. I do, out of all the cars that I've sold, that's one of the ones where I'm like, I wish I'd kept that one. But yeah, it had a few too many. It was quite loud, but I could have done stuff. I could have reversed some of the modifications on that one. But hey, lessons learned. I also owned a Mark III Focus RS, which was absolutely fantastic. That has now parted ways as well. So I had I was putting miles on other cars than this one. The recent service went really well by Volkswagen. I should stress, although I do some work with Volkswagen's like press team as well, you might have seen some videos, this is completely independent. I pay with it myself, and you know, they don't know anything about my social media. But essentially, yeah, it's all sort of honest and open, and that's how I go. And I also check on the Golf R forums, and that's kind of what I would do. There's a Facebook forum, just VW Golf R Mark 7s. It's really, really helpful. So I got sort of like a price for this one, and I checked on the forums, and they said, yeah, that's about right, to be fair. So I was quite happy. Because they didn't want spark plugs. In the end, I just had a minor service plus Haldex. The minor service was £235. The Haldex was £130. So it came to £164.97 as I'm looking there. And they've kind of given like a whole kind of breakdown, as I've got like the papers here. Might as well read it all to you. Yeah, a breakdown of it. Tyres are a little bit worn, 3.5mm on the front, 4.5mm on the rear. PS4s, I'll probably replace them for PS5s. There was no sort of like advisories, there was no issues, everything looked good, and that's kind of what I expect. Now, the big thing about these cars is, you know, if you want a car for the long term, you've got to look after it. And you can quote all this kind of failures, all the common faults that you get with cars. So you could say like, oh, this car has, you know, this, and this is a well-known issue, and this car is really unreliable. But fundamentally, it comes down to the owner and the people who drive it. You know, we are the object ultimately that affects a car. That's my belief, and that's why for all the cars that I've owned, I've never really had any issues. The only thing that I had with this was the very common thermostat water pump housing replacement, which I had about a year or two ago now. And that is very common in these. At Volkswagen, I'm quite happy I've got a full service history. It makes sense. If I've been keeping it going, I might as well keep it going. I found the service really good, actually. Really, really good. Like, they were just really good over the phone. They called me like the day before. They asked, because of my car being a Golf R, like they recognized it was a Golf R. They said, do you detail the car? In which case, we, you know, do you want us to, we don't have to wash it. And I said, I do detail my car, you know, please don't wash it. That was really nice. And just the overall level of service was really, really good. And yeah, just like your service advisor, they do the usual. They like send you a video, which I still need to watch, actually. I'll probably pop it on screen or something like that. Yeah, and it was, yeah, really good, really professional, really efficient, very Volkswagen, very German. So I can't really fault the experience I had. Can't always say that in the past over the 6 years that I've had at various different VW dealers, I should say. So thumbs up with there. I did try and call an independent to get a quote beforehand, but they never got back to me, hey? So that's just the way it is. Overall, I would say the car has been brilliant. I think if you've got a MK7 Golf R, yeah, they're really great. I mean, I'm obviously like, I'm classed as the second owner. I'm really the only owner of this car because I've had, yeah, it's an ex-demo. I can really recommend them. Will it be a car for me for life? I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting on with it quite well. I think the only thing for me is, as much as I love a manual, you know, will I have a manual forever? I don't know. I'm not too sure. There's lots of cool cars out there. There's lots of different experiences to try. But as a car that just works for me, it's really, really good. I might well potentially look at the idea of a second car when it comes to like the winter time. Might think about it, although I'm not too sure. I think I might have had my time with some of the cars that I love, like the ST200 and the Focus RS edition. There's not, after maybe a Porsche or something, there's nothing really hankering after me, and I'm not particularly a materialistic person, so yeah, hey, that's just where I'm at. Yeah, I can't really fault the car. I can only recommend it. And if you know, check out my channel, I've got loads of videos in the back catalogue on this, so it's only going to help you out. And what I'll do, because I haven't added it up yet, I will put a number of how much it's cost me over the 6 years on servicing and on any issues that I've had. The issues that have come to mind would be the thermostat housing. That was about 750 quid, I think. And I replaced the clutch quite early on as well. The manual, yeah, it's not a very good clutch for, well, it's not a bad clutch. It's just, it's got 300 horsepower and it's 4-wheel drive, so it puts it all down. Yeah, so those were kind of the big expenses. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And yeah, I'll be happy to give you any more sort of like advice on how I've kind of got on with the ownership of this car. I'm probably one of the longest people in YouTube to still stick with the same car. So, you know, it's, you know, I'm just ultimately just a normal guy. That's how I started the channel up. I bought a Golf R, share it with you guys, and yeah, still enjoying it. And it's, hey, it's still working. Economy's always been pretty good for me. I can get between 350 miles plus, sometimes 400 miles. I've driven it to Scotland and back, and it's gave me a range of like 500 miles. I don't particularly push the car too hard, so that might be some of the reasons. It's really quick, particularly the manual, because the acceleration's really strong, because it's the short gearing. Really does shoot off, particularly in first and second, probably why the clutch goes quite early. Just to give you an idea, it felt more punchy than my Mark III Focus RS, which had 440 horsepower. This only having 300, it really does pick up. It does not feel slow. It did not feel like a slouch to that car. Okay, that car really piled on because it was yeah, it was super powerful. They're also not that heavy, these cars, in comparison to what you get in modern 2023 days. Feels quite light and agile. Yeah, I mean, like, I've never regassed the aircon and that's still working all good. Nothing's really to complain about with this car for me. But yeah, let me know your thoughts of how you've got on with your ownership, and if you have any questions, let me know, because I will be happy to help you out. So yeah, I figured I'd go through, yeah, how much things cost me and total it all up, and I've got that all here. So what do you think the total is for all of this over 6 years? There you go, about 5 grand. And yeah, subscribe, plenty more content to come. I'll keep sharing about the Golf R as long with plenty more content as well. And yeah, it really does help the channel with your support, and I appreciate it.